T.B.Photo X1.5 and welcome back to another video. Well, I thought I will do something a little bit different here because I was looking through the lens cabinet the other day and I found these three guys that I did a little bit of a video series about previously, a couple of years back in fact. But I thought that now, with me doing a little bit more into flash photography, I thought it was time to literally dust off these three actually fairly decent lenses and see what they're made of on the D7200 with some flash work. Ocean spray. This thing is so powerful you can just water it down 50-50 with the water and you will still have a taste. But anyway, I thought I would, and I do have a little bit of a cheat sheet off camera here now with some of the lens specs. I'm not gonna do a complete overview of each of them, but I think I will just do a little bit so you can get into the vibe of what each of them are doing. First of all, we have the Tokina RMC. All of these are the same focal length. They are 135 millimeters, which on crop sensor cameras like the D7200 will be the same as about 202 millimeters. So you have a little bit of a frame of reference there. This one by Tokina, built-in lens hood, metal lens hood, a 52 millimeter filter thread, and it has a 6 aperture blade designed for the aperture, and it goes from f2.8 down to f22. So yeah, and it also has the little ears here for the AI and pre-AI Nikon camera, so I could basically put this on a Nicormat EL or my Nikon F2, which are made for the older style non-auto indexing lenses. So yeah, this one has a minimum focus distance of 1.5 meters, and yeah, we'll see a little bit what this goes for, can do on the D7200. Next in line is actually a Russian lens. Keep in mind that after the Second World War, a couple of German optics manufacturers like Zeiss and so on, some of the plants went on the eastern side of the Iron Curtain, which meant that the plans or the blueprints for a lot of these brilliant lenses was made by the Soviets and the Eastern Bloc. And this is one particular example. This one is made by COMS. It even says on the back here made in, or it says CCCP on the back of it, which basically is a stamp of the former Soviet Union. Well, this one is called the Jupiter A37, or 37A, excuse me, and it is also a 135 millimeter lens and has a maximum aperture of 3.5 and a maximum of 22 as well. The difference is that the Tokina has a fixed aperture settings that are clickable. You know, the other two in the lineup has a stepless aperture dial instead. What you actually can do is that you can do a hard stop of what aperture setting you want, so that you would compose your image at full aperture, wide open, and then you would stop down to your desired aperture before taking the image. But anyway, I digress. As I've been able to count, this one has up to 13 aperture blades and has a minimum focus distance that is a little bit closer than the Tokina, actually at 1.2 meters. At least the scale shows that, and it can actually focus a little bit closer. Also, this is a converted, it's standard, it's a M42 mount, but I have put a M42 adapter on it, so it can be used on the Nikon F mount. So yeah, that's another one in this little triage of 135 millimeters. And the final one, this one, Meyer-Optics have been a little bit in the pipeline lately. They're basically one of those companies that went away, and by popular demand and by purists and so on, anoraks basically, if I know the term correctly, were extremely excited about finding these lenses because of bokeh mania. Anyway. Anyway, Meyer-Optik Görlitz, and this is the Orestor version. They are all named because the Meyer-Optik Görlitz line of lenses, as far as I've been able to gather, were actually a subsidiary of Carl Zeiss in the Eastern Bloc. This one, it says made in GDR, which is German Demokratische Republik, or DDR as it was called in Europe, Deutsche Demokratische Republik. But this is basically the export version for English-speaking languages, or English-speaking nations, I would say. Excuse me. This one also has a minimum aperture of f2.8 and actually a maximum of 32, f32. And I can understand why this was a bokeh monster, or bokeh monster, because it has a 15 blade aperture, so you can really get the smooth curves of the subject. Also, it has, like the Tokina, a minimum focus distance of 1.5 meters. So yeah, I think that would be all for now for these 3 lenses, and I'm gonna do so that I'm gonna set up a little bit of a tabletop improv shoot on this table, and we'll see what we can do with these lenses on the D7200, and then we're probably gonna go into Lightroom and have a little bit of a look on how the images fare when viewed 100% cropped. Keep in mind again, it's good to point out that the D7200 is a APS-C or crop sensor camera body. It is 24 megapixels, so these lenses will have the equivalent focus or focal range of a 202 millimeter lens. So that's a little bit of a point of reference for you. So we are going to use the creative lighting system with the SB800 and some SB600s to light the scene. So I think that would be all for this part of the video. So yeah, take care and we'll see you in a bit. Bye. Okay, so we are back now with the setup in question, and I thought that what the hell, I'm gonna do it a little bit of a advertising shot of some new shoes I actually recently bought. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, this brand and this designer, but well, it's the Canadian designer John Fluevog and his kind of specialty brand of shoes. And also in this setup, I think I have used the maximum amount of flashes in the creative lighting system that I have been able to gather thus far. We have basically, I'm using all 3 groups. I have taken some sample images first of all here to get a perspective over the entire situation, and we have groups A, B and C represented here. And first we have group A, which is this guy up here that has a diffuser on it and is set at a fairly wide angle. And the reason for this is that I want a general lighting of the table and the front as such. I have the Mercedes, old advert here that is with glass, which means we can get reflections from the flashes in this painting, or whatever you want to call it, this print, I should probably say. So in order to minimize that, I have innovated here with a piece of A4 paper folded and with the Handyman Special, some gaffer's tape or some duct tape. Then after that we have 2 B group flashes, one that is going straight into the sides of the shoes, and then we have a snoot that is gonna be on the Fluevog logo on this box here, and that also has a grid, so it's a snoot with a grid pattern on it. Then behind here, I don't think you can see it in the video, but I might have some B-roll of it. I have two SB600s, one that is supposed to light up the wall here, so we get like a halo effect of this box, and then we had another one that is going up on this table lamp, making a little bit of the illusion of this lamp being on. Also, this lamp having this white dome on it, it becomes a little bit of a diffuser, so it diffuses the light. And to you know, keep track on which of the three lenses we are going to have a very sophisticated system. We're actually going to use cue cards. So MOG stands for Meyer-Optik Görlitz, COMS, and Tokina. So we're just going to have a test shot with each of them of these. Keep in mind also, since this becomes the equivalent of a 202mm on the D7200, since it's an APS-C crop sensor camera, I'm actually going to be way outside of framing for this photo session. So yeah, I am going to be out of frame for the shoot, and you will be able to see here. I'm also going to turn off the LED lights that are lighting me up right now, actually, so you get only the effect of the flashes. But I can do this. If you press the flash icon here, I can basically, there you go, it will actually pop all of the flashes in the same pattern that they are set. So the A went first, then B, and lastly C. But I think this will be enough for me for now, and you will see the result here. We're going to go over to Lightroom and take a look at the images. So as a control, I'm going to do 3 apertures on each lens. We're going to go from 2.0, the fastest aperture that every lens can use. Then we're going to go 5.6 and then f8. Why those, you might ask? As I've been told, and correct me if this statement is untrue, the fastest one will give you the least amount of depth of field, which will give you a little bit of that out of focus. We're not going to get an insane amount of bokeh on this shot because it's fairly compact actually on this. It's a tabletop thing after all. 5.6, I think it was Tony Northrup that had done some testing and come to the conclusion in his testing that 5.6 is the average across the board of lenses that he had tested that yielded the sharpest result. And f8, which is the aperture that in most cases the majority of the shot will be in focus. So I thought those 3 would be the, you know, the ones that should be used. So I think that's enough ranting from me, and let's begin with the Meyer-Optik Görlitz, the 2.8. So yeah. Okay, so now we are here in Lightroom. I have imported all the imaging files, 18 images in total. And yeah, we're gonna start here with the Meyer-Optik's Girlets. So this is the 2.8, the 5.6 and the f8. So I have taken 3 images with the little nameplate and then 3 without. So yeah, these are basically just images to make sure that we get a little bit of a, overview what the lens is capable of doing. And for your information, complete disclosure, the point of the shoes that I actually focused on was this part right here, where you have a very nice edge between the shoe and the background. So let's see, well, let's first of all, let's do a little bit of housekeeping on this one. Let's check white balance. Yeah, there we go. Let's go up a little bit, and rather let's just do white balance on one of each, one at a time, and have a look at what we have here. If we go into 100%, we have bluish black ink from the pen, ballpoint pen, and white paper. So might be a little bit of chromatic aberration here, and here is that. Yeah, let's see here. Well, we have a little bit of aberration. Let's see if the autocorrect, what type of deal we will get from that one. So profile, take away chromatic aberration. Did it do anything at all? Maybe a little bit, but that's very little indeed. If we look here, okay, we have this kind of very good in focus. Might have a little bit of aberration here, but it's very minimal. And also you have some, very good points here, like between the box and the white background. Maybe here we have a little bit of a bluish tint. And since I have focused on the back shoe here, the front one should be a little bit out of focus actually, since I think it's, in generally speaking, 2/3 of the sub behind the focal point will be in focus and 1/3 will be in front. And this is the wide open f2.8 from the Meyer-Optik Girlets. So let's see. Oh, even at this distant, you can see these swirly, almost round bokeh orbs or balls or soap bubbles, whatever you want to call them. So they're quite prominent even at this short of a distance from the focal point up here. But let's see, just for fun, what we can do with this. If we do a little bit like so there, maybe do a little bit more contrast. Let's see here, raise a little bit of clarity, make it have a black point and raise the whites a bit. And keep in mind, I'm shooting as well in camera raw, so these are all raw files and so on. I mean, the lettering shows up fairly decently, so on. I don't think I want to mess about with these sliders because it's good enough as is in camera. Maybe we can do a little bit of a S-curve, such, just to get the mood right in it. Let's go over here. What I actually noticed was that, well, the Tokina was actually the one that made the best imprint in my opinion, but that might be because it has the AI coupling, which talks more to the camera. So it might be better for the TTL. But anyway, here we go now. This is the 5.6 aperture. And let's do the same test for this one and see with and without, take away chromatic aberration. Well, I see almost no change with and without. Look up here. We actually have a sharper line, I think, here than we had before. Same here. Maybe a little bit of green here, or maybe that's just... Well, yeah, here we have some green aberration here. Let's see if it... No difference, it might just be the metal of the lamp. Let's see here as well. Oh, here we go. There we have a red streak. And it turns blue when... yeah. Okay, so I can take either or. Again, even at 5.6, we still have these swirly bokeh balls. Let's see if we can compare the two. Okay, yeah, anyway, let's see what we can do with this one as well. Let's do something like that, a little bit like so. Just a little bit. There we go, a little bit of clarity. Okay, and then F8. Yeah, we still have this red streak here. Let's see if it still does the same. Yeah, it just turns it blue. Okay, yeah. As you can see, not much difference, so let's see what we can do here then. Just brightening it up a little bit of contrast. I think that's all I want to do with that, actually. Maybe a little bit of a... yeah. And now we're basically back. This is F8 without the card, so say E here. Yeah, now we can see a little bit more detail in the shoe itself. So the creasing of the leather and this, the fabric and so on, the stitching. I mean, back here you can see the stitching fairly well and so on. And you can see the little frailing on the shoelaces up here as well. So yeah, let's see what we can do if we manipulate it a little bit here in Lightroom. There we go, something like that. A little bit of contrast. Yeah, I think it actually works better without the card actually. I think the results were a little bit more interesting in my opinion. Something like that. Still have the out of focus areas here. But up here you can really see the... yeah, let's see if we can go down here. The little bit of noise reduction, but also... the sharpening tool here is actually quite interesting to use, because you can reclaim a lot of, well, at least some of the sharpness here as well, which is kind of interesting how it can be managed so. But let's see, now we have 5.6 again, as stated. We don't have... yeah, we still have the red stripe here. Let's see here what we can do. Take away that one. Up, there we go. A little bit of erasing it. There we go. Yeah. And finally, 2.8. This one is kind of interesting because I think the focus was nailed much better here actually, as you can see. And the chromatic aberration here is actually almost gone. So let's see what we can do with this one. We still have the swirly effect here. Let's see if we just go up there a little bit, give it a little bit more contrast, make it pop. This. Yeah, I really enjoy this. And here would be a perfect place to see chromatic aberration because we have the white background and the black foreground here. Same here. Well, here we have a little bit of fuzzed, a little bit of unsharpness, but that is to be expected. Well, I think these are all the 6 images for the Meyer-Optics, and yeah, you can judge for yourself what you think about it. Then we have the Tokina. This is 2.8 as well. As you can see, now you can actually see the aperture here, and all of this would be correct now because this was basically and you can see how it changed it, because this lens was the one that had the AI connection of the 3 that was used in this demonstration. So yeah, keep that in mind actually. But let's see, Tokina have been notorious for having a lot of chromatic aberration, but here at 2.8 it actually looks fairly good actually, in my opinion. Let's see, some contrasty parts where you should get aberration. Oh, and look at this, even though this is also a 2.8 like the Meyer-Optics, have a look at the more smooth out of focus areas here compared to the compared to this. So this is the Meyer-Optik Görlitz, and this is the Tokina RMC. So yeah, let's do a little bit of the same here. Actually, I think I'm going to do that and turn that a little so. And I mean, these types of editing is very personal, how you like it. I really like how the gilded embroideries here, how it reflects. It's a little bit soft, and how the light flares like so. I really enjoy it actually. I think that it looks cool. Okay, 5.6 Tokina. Still, this is the focal point, and yeah, here we have a little bit less of the flare here actually. But let's see here now. No chromatic aberration there. Might be a little bit here. We have a little bit of green here. Again, green. Let's see it down here. No, it looks fine to me actually. Let's see what we can do here. Oh, we don't need maybe that much. Let's do it so. There we go. Maybe something like this. I like how the table becomes a part of it here actually. I kind of like this. And finally the F8. Let's see here. Here we have a little bit of chromatic aberration actually. We get a purple fringing here. And let's see over here we get basically nothing. And down here, no. Oh, here it looks very sharp actually. You can see the stamping of the rim of the light here as well. And yeah, here now we actually get a little bit of a bokeh orbs here on the closest shoe. And the Tokina lettering, yeah, might have some here as well. Let's see what we can do with the autocorrect here. Take away chromatic aberration. Maybe a little. Yeah, and it turned blue here. Yeah. Well, let's roll with it. Let's see here. Turn it up a little. Something like that. The shadows a little bit so. Give yourself a black point, a little bit like so, and so. Oh, here in the shoelace you can see some aberration as well. Here was very prominent. Let's see what we can do. A manual, pepper. No, you can't do anything about that. But we cleaned it up quite a bit actually. So yeah, and now it's the same deal, but without the part here. Oh, yeah, have a look at the stitchings here, how they show up so well in this image. The soles, the lines you can see, really good actually in my opinion. I quite like it. So there we go. Like so, like so. And keep in mind, I'm not a professional by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just a happy amateur that really enjoys photography and to do this kind of mock product photography. And here you can see also as well, here you can see a reflection of one of the flashes in the frame, or the glass part of the frame here. Let's see, might be able to do something like just very tiny, like so. Yep. And here we have, this is 5.6, still very nice and focused, like so. You have a little bit of red, but let's see up here. Nothing. Here you basically don't have that much aberration. Maybe a little bit of purple here, but nothing significant in my opinion. Let's do something like so. Let's try something a little bit different. I don't think I need to do anything like so, maybe like that. Very interesting with camera raw of the amount that you can do in post-production with all the metadata that has been captured on the memory disk, or the memory card I should probably say. Finally 2.8 without the card. And now it is a bit soft here actually. Now it's not as much in focus. This is a typical 80s shot in my opinion, where you have, oh yeah, here you have the purple chromatic aberration. Let's see what we can do. This might be a little bit my doing as well, but this is very much out of focus. It's not sharp at all. Well, let's see just for fun what the sharpening tool can do. Where is it now? There we go. Not an insane improvement, but an improvement nonetheless. It's a little bit too soft at 2.8 in my opinion, but you get that, you know, 80s style flair, or whatever you want to call it, that little taste. Let's see here. Well, I think that would be it for this one. Now we're actually going in reverse order here. Let's see. Here you have the Meyer-Optik, or rather the Jupiter 37A, the comms, the Russian one. And we're going now, I think it's f8, 5.6 and 3.5. And this is a non-AI coupled lens as well, so yeah, let's see. But here at f8, look at this. No aberration whatsoever. Keep in mind also this, oh well, here we have a little bit of red. Let's see if the tool can take it away. Maybe change it. Yeah, went blue. But keep in mind, this is an M42 adapted lens that is used here on this camera body. So yeah, this one, let's see. Okay, let's see if we take away. Yeah, there is a little bit of red. If you look right here, yeah, it does take away a little bit of aberration, but not a significant amount. And keep in mind, this is the one with the most aperture blades, so, oh, even the front shoe is much more in focus than in the previous. You can make out the details in the shoelaces. Really interesting. So yeah, let's see what we can do. Something like this. Take down the shadows a bit, like so. It's a fun to experiment. Yep, something like that. This would be 5.6. Yeah, more out of focus. You can't really take out the detail in the shoelace anymore. But yeah, I think we might have some aberration as well here. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, there is a tiny difference, I believe. But let's keep on, shall we? Let's see here. Okay, let's see, and the final one. this would be 3.5, which is the maximum aperture of it. And we have a little bit of fuzz maybe, but most of all it's in focus. Let's see what we can do here. Raise it a little bit like so. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it's kind of interesting what you can do with these types of older vintage lenses, and with combining it with modern technology as with the Nikon creative lighting system. Really like how it turned out with the effect on the light up here and the back wall here, to have it so that the box actually stands out. You get that little, you know, halo effect, and also the light that shines up in here. Really interesting. So this is 3.5 without any, you know, card, so it's a little bit out of focus here, I would say, but you can still make out quite a bit of detail. Negligible amount of aberration. Let's see what we can do here. Maybe, okay, if we took it into manual control and such. Okay, it can't really do, it's too small for the program to be able to do anything about it. But yeah, anyway, this is the 3.5, and let's give it a little bit of the same old treatment. Yeah, here you can really see it's out of focus. Yeah, and let's see, this must be the 5.6. Oh yeah, way huge improvement here. You can see the details still in the laces. Well, 5.6 really, there really is a huge difference in my opinion when it comes to the sharpness between fully open and 5.6. So yeah, let's see if we can do something like that, something like that. Really nice detail in the fabric here when it comes to the lens as such. And finally f8. Now we're starting to get some definition of some, you know, yeah, you can see a little bit in the shoelace. You can see some detail now as well in this f8. So no aberration here between the blue and this. No. Yeah, there we have a little bit of a red line, but nothing major in my opinion. Let's see, we don't need to take it up. I don't think we need to take it up anything actually. Up with a little bit of contrast. The shadows, give it a highlight, something like this. Give it yourself a black point. Yeah. Well, this is basically it. For all of you out there, you need to, you know, take a gander for yourself which one of these lenses you think are the one for you, but they can all be had fairly inexpensively on Tradera, on eBay and so on. I mean, the Meyer-Optik Görlitz, this lens a couple of years back was, you know, people were, you know, really out to get these ones. They were the bee's knees when it came to bokeh rich, you know, photography. Let's see here. No, let's see, maybe a little bit like there. I mean, these were extremely sought after for the autofocus bokeh, the Meyer-Optik Görlitz. The Tokina I've used a couple of times, and I know from experience that Tokina in general, the older vintagey Tokina, they are prone to chromatic aberration. And then finally the Coms version, the Jupiter 37A, it's basically, as I've understood, a older Carl Zeiss design that was reproduced by the Soviets during the Cold War. and it was minus a M42, so both the Meyer-Optics and the comms are both M42 adapted to my Nikon F mount. And I have adapters with a extra little lens in it, so it will correct to infinity focus. So yeah, but I think that will be all for me for now, and as always, this is Tobias Bergström from T.B.Photo X1.5 to FX, and I'd like to see you guys in the next video. And as always, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. So take care from now on. Bye.